What's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Clarus.
And we're back in our actual filming location. So this feels real good after 10 days at my parents' place. But also, there was a new Halo episode on Thursday, and we have not yet talked about it. So this is our spoiler chat for episode 6 of Halo Season 1, because we get Nerdy Nightly.
And we thought we'd share it with you.
That is right. The Master Chief has come back to Reach, and we talk about stuff for an hour.
Yeah. Good summary. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure you like and subscribe.
There's not a lot that happens in this episode, but everything that happens is important. So it's interesting because it's after the big action sequence at the end of last episode. There's a lot of table setting here, and a lot of finally getting some of the emotional weight and stakes of the show and relationships fleshed out. And I was actually like, there was a point in the episode where I said, like, this should have been like episode 3. I said that like out loud. And it's because we're finally we finally have a television show here.
Yeah. There is actually a premise with characters and like a plot that we can understand.
And no Quan.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, like there was no fracturing of the storytelling to go to a random place
I didn't miss
nobody else cares about.
Yeah,
and again, like I want to be careful because I don't want to make it seem like I'm hating on those actors or like on their casting. Because I know that section of the internet is there. I get recommended those YouTube videos.
No,
but
I don't care what they look like. I don't care what their backgrounds are. But the story that they have been given is garbage.
Well, and it's not even that it's that bad. It is that it is so unrelated.
Yeah.
That every time it cuts over, I'm like, what? Okay, this can't matter in the big picture because we're fighting aliens. Like this rebellion that's never going to happen doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
And so this episode, without the Quan Ha stuff, and with McKee finally like participating in a way that I was like, oh, I get why you're here. I was like, oh, this episode's good. Like it's a good episode of television, and that was surprising. You know what I mean? Like, because after the last big action sequence in episode 1, they just kind of like twiddled their thumbs and there were no consequences of that action sequence. And it was just a bunch of weird nonsense that happened. And after this action sequence, the fallout of that action sequence affected all of the characters. It affected the way those characters relate to one another. It affected the way the UNSC is dealing with the Covenant. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, like this is the show I wanted.
Yeah, I thought it was decent. I wasn't like, that was great. I thought it was decent. Kind of all that happens in this episode is that Master Chief is very clearly getting sicker and more affected by touching the keystones.
Okay, but let's slow down a second. He is in critical condition, and I hated it. The whole episode. I was like, this is dumb. What, he sees battle one time without his pellet and he's like falling apart. Him and Kai are both falling apart. Because remember, the last episode I praised because Kai was falling apart because of the lack of pellet and Chief wasn't. And I like that they were doing different things. I like that it affected them differently.
I don't think it's because of the pellet. It's because he's touching the keystones.
Well, no, but that's the point I'm getting to. Oh. Is that throughout this episode, I was like, oh my God, he's in critical condition because his heart beat because of the battle. When the episode revealed every time you touch the keystone, you get sicker. That was when I was like, oh, I really like this episode. That was the turning point for me on this.
Okay.
Because up until that moment, I was like, oh, God, he just needs to go to medicals because his heartbeat is... No. It's literally he is having a physical connection to the keystone that is both giving him these memories but also hurting him. And I really liked the way they played that out.
Okay, see, I was under the impression it was because of the keystone the whole time.
So
I was like, okay, yeah, like I get it. I was never like, oh, he's upset because of the battle. To me, it was he was getting flashbacks of like his memories and the things that the keystone was showing him. So for me, I just connected it directly to the keystone, but I think that's fair.
You are smarter than I am. So that does happen frequently in our relationship. McKee is taken back to the UNSC thing. And at first she was like in like a nice room and I was like, oh my God, are they really going to let her like wander the halls? Is she going to be free? No, she was a prisoner.
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about though. Everything that I was like, oh man, is he sick because he took his pellet out? No, it's because of the keystone. Oh, is she going to have free reign? No. There are guards and those guards hate her. Like the one guard keeps saying that like she's a squid face, which is squid face. Nice. I like that. So like this episode did a lot of things that I just was like, look, I'm not saying the whole show's great. There's definitely episodes you can go back and watch them. I didn't like them. I like the last the last 2 episodes.
Yeah,
I'm on board with the show now.
I thought that this episode was like decent. I thought it was kind of slow, and like you said, you know, like this felt more like it should have been episode 2 or 3. Like this should have happened well before. I'm not saying that that's like the stuff itself was bad, but kind of how the show has been sloppily thrown together is not great.
You are less forgiving of a show's first season than I am, though.
Yeah.
Like, I think that coming up with a television show, it takes time for things to gel. It takes time. Like, you can't just like. So I've watched so many bad pilots that led to amazing television shows because they were given time, and time is just not given to shows in the streaming era. We don't let people have a bad first season and then 7 great seasons of television anymore.
For me, it's not about like it gelling or coming together. For me, like, I find it very difficult to forgive laziness when there's so much money and so many people behind these things. And the messiness of this show, it like feels like it's lazy because people weren't thinking things through properly, right? Like some of those scenes where we cringed so hard, I'm like, who let that go on television, right? Like that was like a bad choice. And,
sure.
And so like, I agree. I am definitely less forgiving because there are so many shows out there that if like you don't show me something worth coming back for, then I won't.
Yeah.
Obviously now I do this for content, and so you get to hear my opinions as the shows go on, whereas before I just would have stopped. But
do you hate that you have to watch every episode of these shows because of this? Like, would you rather?
Oh no, don't get me wrong.
Fall off?
I love my job.
Okay.
I would rather watch a shitty season of Halo than go work at a desk. You know what I mean? Like, I absolutely love being here and I love what I do, but I'm just giving people the perspective that, like, if I had a 9-to-5 job and I came home from work and I threw this on, I would not continue watching it.
Fair. I would, because I have a problem.
Yeah, we know that.
I'm going to watch the CW's Arrowverse until it dies.
We know that.
Which might be sooner rather than later. We'll talk about Background Legends tomorrow. Come see the Nightly Morning Show Monday mornings. We're gonna be talking about that. So let's. The other 2 big things that happen this episode are Halsey. She gets like totally shit canned, and her daughter is given her job.
Basically,
because they have a technology where you can be an AI that people can't see in a room while they're having an interrogation scene, which was an interesting scene. But
it was very strange.
The Admiral, I wish I could remember her name, and Keys are in there, and then Miranda just walks in the room and joins the voice call.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, first of all, the idea, immediately I was like, oh, interesting, very cool. And then she just walked in and interrupted, and I was like, what? You are laying there vulnerable, viewing like vulnerable information, and there is no security? Like, it seemed...
Yeah.
Here's the thing. It did seem for a moment that maybe the Admiral had like invited her there, that she was there on purpose, but there was no like security codes, there was no clearance.
No, but maybe she did.
No, I think...
But without telling Keys, because when she enters the voice call, Keys is about to tell her to leave, and she's like, no, let her stay.
Let her stay.
The Admiral is playing 4D chess. No, yes. I like that. That's even cooler. The Admiral, she's on it.
Look, it's cool.
Because then she plays Halsey in the next scene. No, that is the only thing that makes sense.
But I wish we'd had a moment where it's like a restricted area or restricted room or somewhere that she is allowed to like let herself into. Because watching it, just seems like she can walk in willy-nilly and throw the things on.
Right? Like, she is one of the higher ranking people in this facility. Whether her mom wants her to be or not, Miranda is very high ranking. So high ranking that she is given the Spartans.
Yeah.
Which I was a little troubled by, because I thought the way they played Miranda in the first episode was bad. I really didn't like Miranda in the pilot. She seemed inept. She's grown on me. I think the actress is doing a good job. And her relationship with Kai has been really cool. I like that she views the Spartans as people in a way that she's learning from them in a way that Halsey wouldn't, because Halsey views them as chess pieces.
Yeah.
And so I think that her relationship to the Spartan program is going to be different because of that. And I think that we're going to see that in the future episodes. So I actually do like this move a lot because of how her and Kai's relationship developed in the Sangheili scenes. I thought that was cool, and so I'm actually really into Miranda being given it. It's been an up and down road with that character in the writing this season.
Oh, it has 100% because, like you said, it doesn't always seem like she's competent at things.
Only in really the first episode. Although also in the line where she's like, "Oh, I never thought to ask you guys this," and I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
But that's the writing, and it's tough. Like the writing in the show is not the best.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I like this episode a lot because it was fun to watch. I'm not saying it's good. It is still nonsense.
Right.
Like this is still like. But look, I love Stargate. I think Stargate is great, right? The original Stargate. I think it's a great show. It's fun to watch. It makes literally no sense. You know what I mean? And so like I think that sometimes when you say like, oh, I enjoyed this or I really liked it, people think you think that this is like the best written fine art. And I'm like, no, it's kind of schlocky. But like sometimes I like schlock.
Yeah.
Right?
We watched The Mummy last night and
great schlock.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this Halo to me is at times bad schlock, but at times it's good schlock. And like this episode was really good schlock. And I had fun. I was into it. And I know that sounds like a diss, but it's not. Like I don't need all of my entertainment to be fine art.
You don't need it all to be 4D chess.
No, but like I like that I like that I want to turn it on and keep going because I'm having fun.
Good.
And I'm only having fun because last week's episode, the battle in last week's episode was so good.
And it was.
It like wiped away some previous episodes for me.
Yeah.
And so I know this sounds like I'm being like it's a backhanded compliment, but it's not. Like
no, you're allowed to.
It's Halo.
You're allowed to have opinions other than like, yes, it's good or no, it's bad. Like that's boring, right? Like rating things out of 10. Sorry, it's boring. Like that's why people watch these kinds of spoiler chats. I think to be like, there's opinions on things and there's nuance and there's so much more to it than like it's a 7 out of 10. You know what I mean?
But for an episode of Halo that has no action in it, this one rates pretty high for me. I really liked it.
Yeah.
So at the end of the episode, basically, this all just leads up to Chief and McKee are having these conversations where she's like very wide-eyed all the time. The actress, she's intense.
Doesn't blink. She was like this, like all the time.
I think that they are. That's not a diss. I want to be very clear. I think her performance in the show is actually really impressive. I didn't really get what she was doing until this episode, and now that I'm seeing her among humans. She's playing someone who doesn't interact with humans very often and is alien to everyone else on the show. And so her interactions with the other characters on the show in this episode, I was like, oh, you're playing an alien, but without makeup. And I was super into it. I was like, oh, okay, you're doing something cool here. And she's fun. She's really cool.
Yeah, I think when you don't give actors like a visual cue to be like, this person doesn't understand society, it like sometimes you forget.
Yeah.
They're like, wow, this like weird. This weird person is. Well, yeah, she is human genetically, but not like socially, I guess.
Well, and she's been acting against CGI until now, right? And so now that she's acting against people, I'm like, oh, I get what you're doing, and it's interesting and good, and like I think she's great. But she's kind of trying to like get on John's good side, and I think that as much as I think she believes in the Sangheili, and I think that she is one of the Covenant. I also think that she feels something for John that is a kind of kinship that she can't find in anyone else.
Yeah.
Right? And so their relationship this episode is interesting because I don't feel like she's manipulating him nearly as much as I thought she was going to at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah.
It does feel genuine. And when she starts to be like, I'm concerned something bad is about to happen, I think that there is as much concern about John's safety in that as there is. Well, actually, I don't even know what else it would be, right? Because I don't think him touching the keystone is bad for her.
We don't really know yet.
He listens to her. He holds on through. He lets go. And he gets the other side. He literally is on the Halo with her as well. And he strokes her cheek. And I was like, if they kiss, I'm out.
I know. I was like, I'm going to fucking lose it.
But it wasn't. It was, he stroked her cheek and it was, oh, you're actually here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like romantic. It was literally, it was like befuddled.
You're a person.
Yeah. It was cool.
Yeah.
And the Halo looks great. And like, I feel like I sound shocked that I liked this episode of Halo as much as I did.
Well, because there's been some crap. The one moment that I was really weird to me was when she's like freaking out and she like ignites her finger.
I still hate the finger. I hate it.
First of all, I hate the finger. Second of all, like, you are in a locked up facility. almost just blew everything up in your face that
Mhm.
you've been working toward. Like,
Yeah.
you almost just messed up so bad because what?
Should have been like, they forced it into me. My thing with the finger is the UNSC didn't scan her,
No, they did. We saw them
but
scanning
like,
her.
does the scanner not like she has plasma. She has a plasma
Generators?
battery in her. Here's the thing about the plasma in Halo
Mhm.
is that it runs off batteries,
Mhm.
and so she would have to have a plasma battery that would have a limited charge, which means that she has a charging dock somewhere on, like, she can be plugged in.
It's solar.
It's plasma. It is decidedly not solar. And so that's they couldn't like, I don't understand the finger thing. And
Mhm.
the thing that sucks about the finger thing, the electric
Nail.
the plasma sword, is that it hasn't been relevant yet in a way that like they couldn't have cut.
Yeah.
And it makes them scanning her weird because you're like, wait, how did they not find it?
Yeah.
How did it not read on any sensor?
Yeah.
Because it would, if they know where there are Covenant weapons, right? Like, they can scan for plasma. Like, the ship, they would have scanned her body and been like, there's a woman on board who's armed,
Yeah.
right? And they have all this crazy technology, but this girl's freaking fingernail gets, and it's only one. I wish it was all 5, because then it would be like, it would be cool.
Be like Wolverine.
Yeah, it'd be like
Or his
X-23, Sabretooth.
Yeah.
I think X-23. Oh no, she has 2. No, never mind. I wish it was all 5. The fact that it's just 1 makes it think that it's like for like opening letters.
It's her coke nail.
God damn it.
But yeah, we end up on the Halo finally, which, I mean, I kind of know what that is because I have you, but well, no, I feel like people could probably figure it out.
Here's my thing about it. If they come back and now know where the Halo is and they only needed 1 keystone the whole time, what was the point of the episodes that I didn't like? I feel like they know the Halo exists now, and so they still need to bring the 2 keystones together to find it. Otherwise, like, what was the point of this whole season?
Mm-hmm.
I also thought, and maybe this will still happen, so I'm going to predict something. I thought that when he, like, finally held on to the keystone long enough, and I said this while we were watching it, I say that to you as if I need you to, like, confirm so I'm not, like, lying.
No, yeah.
It's going to send out the signal that's going to lead to the fall of Reach. I don't love that because I don't like that Chief is going to feel guilty for the fall of Reach because it's going to be kind of his fault. But at the same time, like, I get why a TV show would do it differently than the books do.
Yeah.
And so I do think that the finale of this season will be them getting the location of Halo at the same time as the fall of Reach. And Master Chief and McKee are going to go to Reach, or are going to go to the Halo together as Reach falls behind them.
Mm-hmm.
I also think McKee might go good.
Yeah, I could see it.
I think she's going to want that Spartan...
Programming?
Sure.
Oh.
Let's call it programming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Kai also. Kai is okay, but she's
like her.
very emotional.
Yeah.
She's like,
she's all right, I guess.
the show is like women without their hormone pellets, man. So emotional.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh, also, Halsey does tell. Yeah, Chief, much like in the books, knows the truth about his parents.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows
It's
what
much
happened.
more traumatic in this than it is in the lore, but that's fine.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And he told Kai. I think Kai's gonna go AWOL and try and find her parents.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. Yeah. But yeah, that's what happens, and now we've got 2 episodes left.
3
episodes. So
yeah. Final episode of this is gonna be while we're in Jamaica, so I hope we can make a video.
Great.
Well, I'll be in Jamaica. Who knows where you'll be?
Honestly, at this point, I don't even know.
Stay tuned for announcements about that. Maybe someday.
Maybe later this month.
NDAs are fun. If you like this video, like and subscribe to the channel. If you don't, hit the dislike button. We can take it. And also, leave me in comments down below because the algorithm god is hungry and we must feed her. As always, you can follow us around the internet. I'm at Nerdy Nightly.
I'm at Claris Polaris.
And you're going to be playing Halo 1 on stream this week, right?
No.
The hour of Infinite that you played was enough for you?
That's enough for me.
All right. Well, follow her on Twitch because she's a great streamer and I like her streams a lot. I think you're very talented.
Thanks.
I think you're pretty wonderful. And I'm not just saying that because you got me an incredible birthday gift on Thursday.
You're welcome.
Love you. All right, do something tonight, y'all.
Bye, guys.
Bye.